is Monique Quant, and I'm with the group presenting on Freedom to Marry, and I will be talking about the history of the organization. Freedom to Marry was launched back in 2003 by Evan Wilson, who now holds a position as president. Evan was a civil rights attorney who had a vision, and he shared this vision with a few. And since he did, he started the Freedom to Marry group, and it has been gaining traction over the United States for the past decade. Now, Freedom to Marry today is in 6 states, including the District of Columbia, and there are 44 states that continue to exclude same-sex couples from marriage using the so-called Defense of Marriage Act. And I will get into that in another slide a little later. The federal government refuses to honor marriages of thousands of legally wed same-sex couples, depriving them of the federal protections and responsibilities that come with marriage. So unfortunately, if you are married but not recognized as a real marriage and it's a same-sex marriage, you would not be allowed the same privileges as someone who is married to, in a situation where it's one male, one female. Okay. Now, as I mentioned before, DOMA is the Defense of Marriage Act, and it was enacted back in 1996 on September 21st by it's a United States federal law. And what it does, it defines that marriage is a legal union between one man and one woman. And this law was passed back in, like I said, in 1996 by the then President Bill Clinton. Now, right now, DOMA is still operating, but the agenda or the goal for Freedom to Marry is to have our campaign continue nationwide and to work within the Freedom to Marry in more states, grow the majority, the national majority for marriage, and end federal marriage discrimination, because it is in fact a discrimination against same-sex couples, and partner with individuals and organizations across the county and the country to end the exclusion of same-sex couples from marriage and the protections, responsibilities, and commitment that marriages bring. Now, what I'm going to do is get into a little bit more detail as to the plans for Freedom to Marry. The roadmap to victory is what it's called. Now, the goal is to end the exclusion of same-sex couples from marriage once and for all. And it is referred to as the road to victory. To achieve this victory, we as a group, we must secure the freedom to marry in a critical mass of states and grow majority support across the country. Now, there's a clip that I'd like to have you see, but I'm going to wrap up with my presentation. Then I'm going to ask Adam to show you that clip. The last portion is the board members. We wanted to make sure that you are aware who the board members are, because it's an official representation of Freedom to Marry. We have Ann Stanbeck as chairperson, Julie Dorff as treasurer, Barbara Cox as secretary, and members at large are Rob Coburn and Adam Press. We also have 15 staff members that work full-time with Freedom to Marry, and Eric Wilson stands as president. Now I'm going to ask Adam to take over. Thank you for listening and have a great afternoon.